Welcome, it's Gnome, and welcome to this crypto update. Last week, Monday, I told you guys that it's likely we have another pullback to the downside to basically take out those longs, liquidate them, and then we move to 116K. So I was half right that we got the 116K resistance level, but we did not actually get the downside. So sorry for that, guys. We did get the upside, but not the downside. And now, last week I told you guys that from here, it's likely if we have the upside, but not the downside, that we actually have a downside move after that. And today I'm saying that that is likely cancelled because I am currently seeing no retail buying at all. And I'm seeing whale accumulation basically across the board. So I will prove those points in this video. So hopefully I'm right and we actually have another move to the upside when retail investors finally basically come back after the rate cut announcement. So all in all, the first data point that I have for you guys is that we had this RSI trend line here, and it is now basically having a breakout to the upside. It did not have another move from this resistance line here. So when it is breaking out, it's likely that we actually have a continuation of this move to the upside as well. So that's the first data point that I have for you guys. And the second data point that I have for you guys is actually when we take a look at on-chain data. And for that, I'm looking at sentiment.net. You can actually set up a free account here and get started. And there's paid versions as well. There's a link in the description. But the first data point here to look at is to look at Bitcoin supply on exchanges. And this, we are seeing a decline. And this is actually bullish because it means that Bitcoin is leaving exchanges. And typically when Bitcoin leaves exchanges, it means that it is moving into the hands of long-term holders. And here you can see that we actually had a trend reversal. Previously, Bitcoin was leaving exchanges very rapidly, but here we actually saw Bitcoin entering back into exchanges. So that's when Bitcoin basically was consolidating sideways. And now we're seeing Bitcoin leaving exchanges once again. And even into this pump here, Bitcoin is not entering exchanges, it is continuing to leave exchanges. So this tells me that there has been whale accumulation. Another data point to look at is the supply market cap of stablecoins. And here we have a new all-time high, $245 billion. So that's roughly an increase of $2 billion from last week. So that is a good and healthy signal for this market to continue upwards as well. So stablecoins are bullish. Then when we take a look at old whales that have held Bitcoin for more than 90 days, more than 1 year, and more than 3 years, here an interesting observation is that we did see short-term whales basically selling here, but long-term whales that have held Bitcoin for more than 1 year and 3 years, they are not selling into this pump here at all. And that is a very healthy signal in my opinion, because that means that whales are not selling. Old whales are not selling. And retail investors are not buying either. So it's likely that we actually continue upwards from here. So this is another healthy indicator. Yes, it's annoying that these whales that have held Bitcoin between 90 days and 1 year, they are selling, but those are not long-term whales. So it is a healthy signal in my opinion. Also, another point to prove that whales have been accumulating or at least not selling is looking at the network realized profit and loss. This simply tracks Bitcoin that were bought at lower price levels. When they finally move Bitcoin, it is considered taking profits. And when it's moved on chain, it basically causes a spike here. And the price difference between the accumulation of the Bitcoin and moving out of the Bitcoin, that basically causes the spike here. So for example, if 100,000 Bitcoin were moved today, that was bought yesterday at the same price level, then there would be zero spike here. But if that 100,000 Bitcoin was bought at the price of, let's say, $10,000, then it would create a massive spike here. So that basically just shows me when this is almost zero, that whales are not taking profits here. And you can see it's clearly lower than basically any time during this area here. So that is a very good signal that whales are actually waiting for more upside for now. So a lot of data points basically suggesting that whales have been accumulating and whales are not selling at this point. And when we take a look at Google Trends, this is the key point, that the current price move is not supported by retail investors. So when we look at the search terms for Bitcoin and the search term for crypto, you can see that these are still at the lows as of now from last week. So Bitcoin had the number 18 or value 18, and crypto had the value 11. And both of them are basically what we are seeing, retail interest for these terms, basically since 2024. So the retail investors are simply not interested in Bitcoin and crypto. Whales are accumulating at this moment in time. And that means that when retail investors do come in, that's when we see the pumps, and that's when we see whales basically starting to sell and take profits. But now whales are simply accumulating and buying more. And again, to prove this point one more time is when we go to bitcointreasuries.net, we have 4 more entities since my last update, basically accumulating Bitcoin. And we have 10,000 Bitcoin entering into ETFs and into these Bitcoin treasury companies more since last week as well. So more signs of accumulation again. So a lot of accumulation basically across the board, no sell pressure. For Ethereum, unfortunately, during Mondays, I don't really have updates here, but I do have an update from September 8th, which shows that Bitmain Immersion was buying another 200,000 Ethereum into its treasury wallets. And when we take a look at the ETFs, we saw $640 million of inflows into Bitcoin ETFs as well. And these have just been massively basically buying since last week. So a lot of accumulation into the ETFs. And when we take a look at Ethereum ETFs, here we see that these also turned bullish last week. So all in all, we saw a lot of whale accumulation, but retail investors are basically completely out of the picture. So for these reasons, I do actually expect that we might even see all-time high when we get the rate cut announcement. Then retail investors come in. So all in all, what I'm currently doing, what usually tends to happen with these types of moves is that first Bitcoin moves to the upside, then Ethereum moves to the upside, and then small cap altcoins finally pump. And we haven't basically seen small cap altcoins pump at all during this bull market yet. So we have seen Bitcoin move to the upside, we saw Ethereum catch up, now we saw major altcoins like Solana. Solana is now moving to the upside as well, almost basically breaking all-time highs once again here. So Solana is moving to the upside. I saw some other major market cap altcoins also move to the upside. But when we take a look at Bitcoin dominance, what is very interesting here is that we're basically now touching the lower part of this trend line. We already had the breakout basically last week, and now we basically are looking at a retouch of this trend line here. So if this analysis is correct and retail investors are basically about to flock into the market, most of them probably will try to catch up with small cap altcoins. And what I'm basically expecting for Bitcoin dominance to go is roughly 50%. When it reaches 50%, I will say that this bull market is basically done at that moment in time. So if we see Bitcoin dominance drop here, I think it will be mainly moved by small cap altcoins, which are just completely underperforming Ethereum and dinosaur coins like Solana and even Cardano or XRP, these kind of altcoins. So small cap altcoins are something that I'm currently very, very, very interested in. So let me know in the comments what kind of a small cap altcoin are you buying and what small cap altcoin are you interested in, because I think it's time for them to finally make their moves. The retail investors will come back after the rate cuts are introduced, and then the narrative obviously flips completely bullish. So those are basically my points. Now, I do want to mention Ethereum Validator Q. I made a video specifically about this a couple of weeks back. And here the exit queue jumped basically from 600,000 to now 2,600,000 Ethereum. And this is just a massive number because this is roughly 8% of total Ethereum which is staked. And I actually thought when I saw this that people will panic and they will sell their Ethereum as a result. But we did basically see none of the selling, and it's now been more than a week since I made that update. So I don't think this is panicking anybody. Even though this is a large amount, it seems like it is simply a technical unstaking event. And by the way, if you didn't watch my video, the reason why basically 2 million Ethereum was added into this exit queue is because there was a API mistake in one of the Ethereum staking service providers. And their plan is to unstake the Ethereum, change the API in their system, and then restake the Ethereum. And for the investors in their uh, service or product, they basically will not lose a lot of yield during this switcheroo. So in a technical sense, this looks scary, but in real sense, it seems like nobody panicked from this event at all, and it's basically back to business as usual. So this Ethereum validator queue exit mass exodus, even though on the chart here you can see this is a massive all-time high here, and it's just a crazy amount of Ethereum currently exiting the staking. We will see the entry queue also expand as more Ethereum is leaving here. And there will, by the way, because of this event, the exit queue expanded by roughly 30 days. And during those 30 days, when the Ethereum is entering back into staking, that means that every single person who is currently staked their Ethereum on the on-chain, when they try to unstake and sell their Ethereum, they cannot get in front of the queue. So there will be a time period of 30 days when basically nobody who has unstaked their Ethereum is able to sell their stake because it's this one entity that is causing this 2 million Ethereum to be unstaked and then restaked back into the ecosystem. Now, maybe some of the investors in their ecosystem actually do want to sell and they will sell some of their Ethereum, but most likely most of the people who have unstaked and want to sell their Ethereum are now basically unable to sell for the next 30 days or so. So that's basically my point here, is that this looks scary, but in fact, it might actually be bullish for at least a time period of 30 days. And then people who have unstaked after that, maybe their motive is to sell eventually their Ethereum. So that's the update on that front, and that's basically pretty much all of the updates on crypto front. I do want to mention that we have a situation with the U.S. government. So you probably know about Charlie Kirk, and you probably know about the assassination already. I actually made a video about this whole topic, basically exposing the fact that Trump is trying to benefit from this politically. He's going after his political opponents, and they will use the death of a free speech maximalist to actually implement free speech laws against free speech. So they are basically trying to use him as a martyr to pervert his legacy and using him to create more wars and to also go after the political opponents and to quell free speech in the United States. And here, this is just insane that the president of the United States is posting this picture here with Charlie Kirk and him. This is an AI picture, by the way, with an American flag on the left side and with an Israeli flag on the right side, even though he was a actual Christian who was a Christian conservative, and now he's somehow tied to Israel in this whole event. And then there was another point here. Let me show you here. So US lawmakers introduced a thought police bill to strip citizens' passports over Israel criticism. So now if you are in the United States and this law actually passes, then you could be denied the right to travel if you criticize Israel. And this is what I was telling you guys, that this is how they quell free speech, and this is how they want to use this death to basically go after leftist ideology and to go against anti-war rhetoric as well. So I made the video. I didn't publish it because it's kind of opposite to my channel. And the biggest reason why I didn't do it is just that the algorithm hates when I mix crypto and politics, because the cross section of people who are interested in crypto and also interested in political news, that is a very small segment of the total population. So the algorithm basically gives a penalty to my channel if I do something like this. So I decided not to do it. I'm still contemplating if I should open a second channel and just post all of my political ideas there or observations. So let me know again in the comments if you would like to see something like this in the future, where I cover these political events in more in depth. But all in all, Israel is trying to benefit from this, trying to implement these Israel free speech laws, as well as Donald Trump is now going after the leftist uh, media stations and politicians and all these things as well. So that's basically the update there. And by the way, the person who is implementing this Israel criticism law, he actually was wearing an IDF uniform into US Congress back in 2023. So that basically tells you that there's a occupation problem in the United States right now, and I hope next presidential election there will be a pro-Israel candidate and a clear anti-Israel candidate. And I don't care if it's the left or the right. I hope the one that is anti-Israel is able to get Israel out of US politics, because that would be just so much more healthier for United States if that were to happen. But basically, free speech is under attack. European Union is going to war against Russia. But all in all, that means more money printing and another narrative to push Bitcoin higher as well as a neutral currency. So the fundamentals look good. Now, again, I could be wrong here, and we simply have that move to the downside here because we do have all of those liquidation zones right below the current price level here as well. I guess I could show it here. You can see massive amount of yellow at $107,000, and that actually stretches all the way to $103,000. So here we have a lot of liquidations. So if the market makers are able to actually go there, that would be an area where it's very likely we will actually have a reversal back to the upside if we do go there. But right now, it does look like markets actually want to continue higher as the rate cuts happen. I actually did have one more point here, which is that when we take a look at the chances of rate cuts, the chances are right now that there will be a rate cut in September, there will be a rate cut in October, and also that there would be a rate cut in December. Actually, this vote is, or this betting platform is, it says Fed rate cut by any of these times. So it's most likely that we will see at least one rate cut this year. I think it was Deutsche Bank and maybe another bank that said there will be 3 rate cuts this year. So that remains to be seen. But September looks very, very likely, 97% chance as of now. So that's basically what we're expecting to see. I think the rate cut announcement comes on 24th of September. So that's not this year. 16th and 17th of September. So we could see it by Tuesday, Wednesday, something like this to be announced. So let's see. Hopefully we will see the rate cut, and I hope that we actually do see more upside afterwards. That's the update I had for you guys today. Hope you liked this video. Subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye bye.